First, I'm going to tell you about coyotes.
You can tell me about
I want to tell you
coyotes.
about coyotes.
Coyotes.
So, I grew up in very rural Ohio,
Right.
and it wasn't uncommon to hear coyotes howling or whatever at night.
Right.
And my sister always liked to scare me and say the coyotes were coming up to get us. And they're like, "Don't you hear that? They're scratching at the front door." So, for probably about the first half, between like 10 and I don't know, maybe 12 and 16, I had a maybe probably irrational fear of coyotes for that reason.
Wow.
So, just wanted to throw that out there.
Just gonna throw that out there. Well, that's an inauspicious start to this this video here. So, welcome
I only say
everybody.
that 'cause one, the guy's last name in the credits was Coyote.
Peter
and then
Coyote,
also
yeah.
at the beginning, they're talking about coyotes.
Right, that he could have been a coyote.
They didn't know what it was.
What we're talking about is, of course, E.T., as you
E.T..
can read right below us here on the thing. Yeah, we finished up Spielberg month watching E.T. the Extra-Terrestrial. Ouch.
Oh.
There we go. I don't know if that's gonna make it or not. Like if it's gonna get blocked by the thing,
I don't
or
know,
that's
but
gonna
it'll
be tricky.
Fun to see. I don't care what I just want to
That's
see
gonna
it.
be tricky editing there. Thanks, I appreciate that, babe. So E.T. came out in 1982.
1982.
Spielberg's follow-up from Raiders of the Lost Ark. E.T. was also quite successful on the awards circuit. It was nominated for Best Picture and various other Academy Awards. I think it won Best Score and maybe Best Visual Effects.
The music was nice in it. I'll say that. The music was very imaginative. It got you.
I believe John Williams
He did,
said...
he said it.
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. I'm sorry, yeah. I believe John Williams said that it was like one of his most personal scores that he had done. Yeah.
Okay.
What you got on your notes for
What
this
do I
one?
have? So it was 1982. I just
Yes.
realized I'm wearing my glasses. Do I need to take them off? Or
I think they look all right. They look all right, everybody.
No, I just mean for the glare.
We'll see. We'll see how it looks in the finished product.
Well, I ain't redoing it.
We'll know next time.
Anyways, 1982. Drew Barrymore. That's my first point. She stole the show from me.
Yeah.
She was so great. Like, do you know how old she was?
Oh God, I don't. I would look it up, but
All right,
my
like
phone's
5.
out.
We'll say 5.
She's and could be younger than that, but yeah, about there. Yeah.
4 or 5.
Very young.
Yeah,
Very
and like
young.
you don't obviously you have to have young children acting in movies. Sometimes they're part of the story. You just have to have them in there.
Right.
But you're not necessarily expecting them to be good actors per se.
It's very rare.
She was good.
She was
great.
good. I think she was good, and I think the kid who played Elliot was very good. And I can't think of his name right now either. But he was very good too. And I didn't realize really how good he was until we watched this film. I mean, I personally avoided watching this movie since I saw it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I absolutely saw it. It made me so sad and broke my heart so many times that I actively avoided ever watching this movie again. Seriously, until we just watched it. So you're talking like 30 or so years.
Were you
not
still as
watching.
heartbroken? Did you feel
Not as much because I knew it was coming this time around, and I don't know, the real world's hardened my heart a bit on that. So it didn't strike me nearly as bad as it did back when I was a child, but I genuinely did not watch this movie and actively avoided it for the better part of 30 years of my life.
Yeah.
Because it made me so sad. The very end of it made me so sad.
Because E.T. had to go home?
Not necessarily. No, when E.T. was dying. When E.T. was dying, when he is chalk white.
Yeah, he looked pretty much.
And
he looked
it
rough.
that just killed me as a kid. It was brutal to sit there and watch.
So what about Elliot being in rough shape? You were more concerned about the alien?
I was more concerned about E.T. than I was Elliot. Yeah,
just curious.
It was just it was so tough when I was a kid.
So Drew Barrymore obviously goes on to have a successful career,
very successful,
which
career.
I have a lot more respect for her now. I don't know why I used to just kind of dismiss her, but now I have more respect for her. I'll say that. But. I wouldn't have recognized her if I didn't see her name in the credits.
Oh, really?
I don't think I would have recognized her.
I always thought she's quite recognizable.
I don't think I would have.
That's interesting.
Would have recognized her. So Elliot, did he go on? The kid who played Elliot, did he go on to have?
I really wish I had his name in front of me. I don't think he did much more as a kid. I think he went back to like normal kid life, and then he started back acting as an adult again, and he has been in some things here and there as an adult actor. The most recent thing I can remember seeing him in is a Stephen King movie on Netflix called Gerald's Game, which at one point you're going to watch because it's a very good movie. And it's not super like scary horror based like Stephen King. It's a very cool movie. And he is in that. And I remember sitting there watching and going, that's the kid. That's a kid from E.T. I know. Yeah, it's like, oh my God. I'm like, all right, it's good to see him, back again. I mean, he looks the same except, 40 years old in the 5 o'clock shadow. But I mean, he looks the same. He really does.
Okay.
It's kind of cool.
So there were a couple of things I didn't understand. So he said, I have absolute power. Was that just saying like, I don't get what he was.
I think that's a power play for the child. I mean, you saw when they were playing Dungeons and Dragons and they wouldn't let him play.
Yeah.
And I think that was for him the power play of I get to decide what we do with this alien.
I'm in charge. Like I'm in charge in this
He's
situation.
my pet.
My responsibility.
My responsibility, my thing. And I think that's what it was, just trying to get that power over his older brother.
Another thing was Sentus Supremus, and I don't remember the context now, which is whatever. Cut that out. Okay, so point number 2/3. Well, 2 we'll say. Is the school and frog sequence.
Yes.
That whole sequence was strange to me. I was just gonna say it was strange. First they were, we'll say Elliot's what, 8, 10 years old?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
That's a little young to be dissecting frogs, I feel like, personally.
It's so funny because, and we had talked about this a bit as we watched the movie. Yeah. I never dissected an animal. Ever in any of my science classes in any level of school. I never dissected an animal. The closest thing we ever did to something like that was owl pellets.
Right.
Which is nothing. So we never did anything like that. Now, secondly to that, my understanding of how this whole thing works is these animals are already dead.
Right.
When they come to you. And so they're freshly dead, probably a day or so, because you can't have them rotted. And then you're dissecting them and looking at the organs and stuff like that.
We dissected frogs. Mm-hmm. They were already dead. I don't know, but it was in high school, and I'm pretty sure like at least one person in my class opted out. They were like, I don't want to do this, and they just let them not do it instead of raising a fuss. So like, it's fine to dissect whatever, but like, I don't know. I felt like they're in elementary school. It was a little young.
It's a little young for that, yeah.
Yeah. Just the frog sequence. I don't understand why, and I want to like circle back around to this. I don't understand why Elliot caused the chaos he did. Like, to save him was that he was feeling sorry for E.T. and like he's like, I gotta save these frogs. If I can't save E.T., at least I can save these frogs.
I don't know that it was necessarily that. I think it was. First, I think there was the psychic connection between Elliot and E.T.
And that's what I want to circle back around to later.
There's a psychic connection between the two. I'm not sure, even watching this movie, knowing that exists, I'm not sure where that bond began.
Okay.
I don't know if it began with the mimicry when he, first gets E.T. in the house and he's, doing this and E.T. mimics him in all the ways. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if that's where it picks up, but I think it's the empathy that comes from E.T. He's watching television and seeing stuff. He's also drunk.
Yeah.
It was a rough day for everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think that bit of empathy pours over into Elliot.
Okay.
And I think Elliot didn't look as so much as just saving his own frog as just releasing them all. I think he just went crazy. Got you. Super.
That makes sense.
Conservationist on that.
It's interesting to me at the first part of the movie that I'm calling in the bad guys. I don't know if that's the right term for them, the men in black or whatever you want to call them.
The
You didn't see their
government.
faces. It was only like waist down shots. I thought that was interesting.
That was intentional by Spielberg. He wanted to shoot most of this movie from a kid's point of view. So
Okay.
most of the shots in the film, like 90% of it, is shot from like what would be like adult about waist high or
Right.
so.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
And he wanted it to be, and so the adults, none of the adults in the movie, except for their mom, you see their faces at all
Oh.
until
We saw the teacher.
until you
Did
saw
see
no, you didn't
did
see the teacher's
teacher?
face.
Okay.
You don't see any of their faces until the guy they call Keys, Peter Coyote's character, shows up and takes his mask off, and you actually see his face. And then after that, it's like the
Unmasked.
curtains.
Yeah.
The curtain's been open, and everyone, you can see all the adults now.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I thought it was like some mystery. I was like, is the teacher the bad guy? Because
Yeah.
I don't know. He seemed to know something was going on with Elliot. I don't know if it was just the whole being drunk thing, or I feel like there was something else that he was implying that.
Drawing a picture.
Yes,
of the
that.
ET
It was
too.
that made the teacher's the bad guy. He's gonna send his goons after to Elliot's house. Okay, I'm just looking too much into it, I guess.
Yeah, just a bit. It's okay.
Okay, so now let's talk about E.T. I decided he's oddly cute. He's cuter than Gizmo, and he kind of reminds me of Wall-E, like with the head shape.
Yeah, the design.
The neck weirds me out, but I got over that. So overall, he's pretty cute.
He first extends his neck.
Yeah,
up. It's
I
kind of weird looking.
weird me
Yeah.
out.
But to me, I felt it was weird looking seeing him without his neck extended. When he was
Yeah.
like initially, when you see him, he's all kind of it's like all kind of compact and
Right.
whatnot. He just kind of looked really odd to me there. I feel like to me, the more normal or default stance of ET would be with his neck.
Okay.
Extended, which it's not. Now that I've watched it again, I realize that's not the case.
It's not the case. So he has special powers.
Yes, he has some psychic ability.
He has a green thumb, apparently.
Yes. Well, and this might be in your notes later, and I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead.
No, probably isn't.
Your whole point of reference going into this movie, if any, was the Universal
The ET
Studios
ride, yeah.
that we went on a couple years ago. And in
It was
that,
a lot of fun. It was really cute, and I loved it.
which is funny because that ride's an original ride of that park. That ride's been there since 1990.
I loved it.
And it actually hasn't had that much updating to it. So there's kind of a fun, nostalgic look at the really rigid animatronic people and stuff in it. But
I just liked all the
it's
colors.
it's very beautiful. It's a very fun ride. It's a good ride to go on when it's hot outside because it's all inside. But it's if the backstory in that is like they're trying to save ET's home planet, which is a very plant kind of based world. You know, there's a lot of
Because when that movie
flowers
opens,
and vegetations and stuff like that.
they were digging up a tree to plant on their home planet.
That's the way I interpret it.
Okay.
That they're taking plants from our planet to back to their planet.
Got you. Okay.
That's kind of what they were there doing. So I think they have a natural connection to
Earth
plant
and
life.
nature,
Yeah.
not Earth, because
Right.
that's not where they're from.
Right. And they have, like I said, they have the psychokinetic kind of abilities.
Yeah, telekinesis.
Telekinesis. They have healing factors,
Okay. What about invisibility? Because no, not invisibility.
Not that I
Okay,
know
he was
of.
just fast. I thought maybe like in
Yeah,
the
he can
sequence
scoot.
in the trash cans when Elliot, I thought that he turned invisible and ran away, but he was just fast.
He's
Okay.
fast for a guy with no legs.
Right. Just a few random things. I like the rainbow blinds that Elliot has in his room. I just want to say that. I love those. They're very, very hapless leaving that driveway. Like, just zip out of there. Like,
It's an incline driveway in
Yeah.
a cul-de-sac.
It just zoom,
they
zoom.
I think it's a cul-de-sac. It might not be a cul-de-sac. I don't remember.
I think in my head it's a cul-de-sac
I mean,
too.
yeah, it's like but if I'm not mistaken, there's a road. If it's a cul-de-sac, the entrance to the cul-de-sac is like directly in front of their house.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think a few of the wide shots they showed that, but for some reason I feel like they could also enter from like the right side of that. I don't know. Something like that. They had plenty of room in there to do that safely.
The kid in the beret looked familiar. I don't know who that is, but he looked familiar.
There's one of the kids in there that I didn't realize he was in this is C. Thomas Howell.
I think that's him.
Yeah,
Is he in like Breakfast Club or
No, he was in a movie called The Outsiders. I don't know if you've seen The Outsiders. He was in a lot of 80s movies.
I feel like that's who I recognize. Him.
I think it is too.
No, it's Ferris Bueller.
No, he wasn't in Ferris Bueller.
Okay, never mind then. I don't know. All right. So, E.T. In the movie, did they ask Elliot, am I imagining this? They said, how do you know it's a boy? And Elliot's like, it's a boy.
I think Elliot, just said it's a boy. Because we joked. I was like, they looked under his skirt.
Right. Yeah, like, how do they know it's a boy? So, that kind of transitions into my thoughts on the relationship between Elliot and E.T. Like, I'm still a little confused about it. I didn't know if it was some Fight Club type of thing where Elliot is E.T. and E.T. is Elliot. Or like, because they're obviously connected somehow.
They have a spiritual connection. They are two different physical beings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it confused me at the beginning when Elliot, I think, first discovers E.T. and they're like the cameras switching around, but it's just Elliot from different angles. I don't know. That confused me.
And I think that was him. You mean like when they was in the cornfield kind of thing in the weeds? I think that was just done to be the to
shock
give
value.
that scare factor, like the confusion, to let you feel the confusion that the kid is going through by doing that, disorienting you as well.
Gotcha. I took that as like him dissociating or something. I don't know. No. Okay, well, see, that's what I saw. I thought it was like Fight Club or Sixth Sense or something, and like.
No.
I don't know. So they were just psychically connected. So when E.T. got drunk, then Elliot felt the effects of that too. And man, how do you explain that? Like, I wonder if they like had to breathalyze him or something. Or could they smell the alcohol on him?
Right. Like,
and then like, how do you? I haven't been drinking. I promise. All signs point to you have.
You're acting drunk. I was like, if they did a blood test, would he actually have alcohol in his system? Yeah, I don't know. But that's one thing that bothered me a little bit about the movie was I couldn't tell if he, like where their psychic connection began in it. Because I felt like, in my mind, there was a moment that it happened.
Yeah.
You know? But as I sat there and watched the movie, I don't think there is. There's not a definitive moment that it just happens. It just does. Like, Elliot starts seeing the same visions that E.T. does. So, like, he gets, like, when Elliot went to go get him food and stuff, and he opens up the fridge, E.T., I can't remember what it was, but saw something that scared him. And then it scared Elliot. He dropped, like, the milk and dropped everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, he's already having that connection. I'm like, when did that...
For me, it's in the cornfield, but that's just, I think, because of that camera angle that I was just discussing. I don't know.
Maybe someone out there can inform us.
Yeah. What do you think?
In the comments, let us know.
Happen? I still think it's some Tyler Durden bullshit. So, like you said, all I knew about this essentially was the Universal ride. Mm-hmm. Pop culture, obviously, I know E.T. flies a bicycle somehow. Right. I didn't know that he flew everybody. I thought Elliot was the only one that just flew. Yeah. And then the Bob's Burgers episode with the toilet. Yeah. that's all I know.
Yep. That one's it's a good episode anyway, Bob's Burgers. Look that one up. That's a really good one.
Yeah. Overall, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. It was the first movie in a long time that we've watched. I remember that I don't have like any real visceral feelings towards like this was stupid. I felt like I could relate to all the characters. Like it was a normal household. Like if I were in that situation, that was everything. I would do everything the same way.
It's playing out the same way. Yeah.
You're not like running into a dark, scary basement. You're like, what are you doing? And then even at the beginning, Elliot's like, Elliot, you're crazy. What are you doing? Going out to investigate this unknown thing.
It's told very well from a child's perspective. Yeah.
I just have a child's mindset, apparently.
We know that. You're quite childish. We know this. It's definitely well told from a child's perspective, both visually and as the story plays out. So it doesn't get diluted in the science of a lot of the stuff like that. Is like you're experiencing this just like Elliot's experiencing it, and so you just kind of have to sit back and like you kind of did, like react to it. How would I do this? What would
Right.
happen here? What would And as you see it play out virtually the same way, it's like
Yeah, my
nailed it.
curiosity would just win out. Like I wouldn't be able to sleep at night because I'm
Yeah.
like, what's in my shed?
Right.
Yeah, the one thing I did have, I'm not going to say a problem with, but like if E.T. is such a smart alien, why did he need the help of an 8-year-old to get back home?
I don't know that he needed the help of an 8-year-old. I don't know that he directly needed Elliot's help.
He just bonded with
I think
Elliot.
he ended up bonding with him because Elliot, fed him. He gave him the
Took care of
Reese's
him,
and
yeah.
stuff like that. Big missed opportunity there, M&M's. What's wrong with you? They literally passed on it. And so they got Reese's Pieces instead. And Reese's stock went through the roof.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like what is wrong with you? But anyway, I think they developed that bond and that friendship. I think E.T. was doing exactly what he wanted to do. He was in a shed. He was looking for tools that he needed to build a phone to sit there and say, "Hey, you guys left me. Please come get me. I'm still alive. Please come back and get me."
Okay, that makes sense.
And I think the bond and experience that he just had with Elliot just plays out as it does.
So Elliot was also getting sick, right?
Correct.
E.T. was also failing.
And then if you see that, like at the end where E.T. basically says goodbye in the oxygen tents, as he's dying, he releases that connection they have.
Okay.
So Elliot, that's when they say the boy's vitals are getting better. He's doing it, but we're losing the alien.
Yeah.
It's because he severed that tie, and so they're no longer sharing that.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
and I still, even watching it now, I still don't know if E.T. actually either died, was close to death, or if he just kind of put himself in a coma to just wait for the right time to try and make an escape once they all got away from him.
Right.
That he could try and escape and get out.
Yeah.
Like watching it this time around. When I was young, I always thought when Elliot said he loved him, that was it. That's what brought him back, the power of love.
Who's to say it wasn't?
And it might not. Yeah, I know. But watching it now, I don't feel like that was it.
Love.
I really don't. I don't feel like that's what happened. I feel like
go with that.
I feel like E.T. played possum there to try and
It
get
was
himself.
Elliot's love that gave him the last spark. Without Elliot's love, he wouldn't have made it.
Fair enough.
That's what happened.
Also, as I'm watching that, as they're all working on him and whatnot, I'm sitting there going, man, they could be like poisoning him and stuff because they're treating him as though he's
a human.
Yeah. I'm like, and they're just, give him some of this, give him this drug, give him this drug. I'm like, you don't know what that's going to do. You might just kill him. He might explode. You don't know. Like, it's crazy. So, yeah. So overall, what'd you think of E.T.?
I liked it. I give it a 7.
7? Nice. It's good. It's a fun family film. It
really
is. It's really nice.
Yeah.
It holds up pretty well. Like, even effects wise, it actually holds up decently.
Yeah, there wasn't anything.
They're a little dated and whatnot, but they're not awful looking. And the puppetry still holds up beautifully in E.T. It just shows you how good puppetry and physical effects are. So, well, that's going to wrap up Spielberg month. We're heading into February now, and I'm gonna get her with some romantic movies. Not necessarily all romantic comedies, and not necessarily all just straight up romance films. So it'll be an interesting selection of what we've got coming. So stick with the channel here. We appreciate all you guys constantly tuning in, and please feel free to like, comment, share, do however you feel to help support this channel, and we'd really appreciate that. We really would.
Yep.
So till next week, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.